What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the culture shocks of living in Norway. Today, I want to take a look at a couple of these videos which feature students from different parts of the world talking about their unique experiences living and studying in Norway. And they're going to talk about some of the culture shock that they experienced and observed living in Norway for the first time. So I'm very curious about what they have to say. Each of these videos has like a little heading or title. This one starts with Dealing with Norwegians, which I think is a funny title. Dealing with Norwegians. How do you deal with them? Okay.
By far, the biggest culture clash is this concept called janteloven versus any other culture in the world, essentially.
Janteloven. I have learned about janteloven. This is a very Norwegian thing. It's like the law of Jante? Well, let's let him explain it, actually.
Put it very simply, if you're good at something, you can't say that you're good at something.
Oh my god. Right. Man, Norwegians have to be humble. This is so different to life here in America. It's crazy. It's the opposite. It's actually hard for me to wrap my head around, because here in America, you're supposed to do everything in your power to show how great you are. Tell everyone your accomplishments. Tell everyone how great you are. Show everyone how accomplished and wonderful you are. That's what everyone is kind of encouraged to do. Sometimes it's good to be humble. Sometimes in American culture, it's kind of complicated, but it's okay to be, over-exaggerate yourself, and it's okay to be humble. Sometimes if you want to get noticed in America, it really feels like you have to brag, which a lot of people, don't really, even Americans, not everyone is comfortable doing that. So it's quite the opposite from Norway. Fascinating.
You need other people to publicly say that you're really good at something. And then you have to be, but of course not. No, I'm not good at anything.
I think...
So you have to play this game almost in Norway. Oh, this is so fascinating. It's funny that this is what stuck out to him the most in Norway. This was one of the things, janteloven. So you have to let other people explain how great you are. You have to let other people do that. And then you have to be very modest, very humble, and be like, oh, no, I'm not that great. No, stop it, you guys. No. So it's like... It's kind of nice. It's like a whole society, Norway, where everyone is taught to kind of be humble and just let your actions speak for themselves, I guess, which is kind of nice, actually.
I think for a foreigner, public transport experience is really offensive at first, because nobody wants to sit next to you. They go to the extent of avoiding you.
I was like, what is she talking about? Okay. She's talking about Norwegian public transportation? That's funny. I've never thought about it like that. I've heard Norwegians like to spread apart and don't sit next to each other. She thought it was because nobody liked her. She thought it's because everyone hated her, but it's just because it's normal behavior in Norwegian society. Everyone does it.
Sitting as far as possible away from you.
They really appreciate this distance between person.
There is no Norwegian body language. They're happy, they're like this. Look at me, they're like this. They're sad, they're like this.
I never...
Wait, what? I have not heard this one before. So this guy is saying that there is no Norwegian body language? Norwegians are hard to read? Maybe Norwegians don't show their emotions as much, especially when you're comparing this to Americans. Now, I'm very happy that this is actually people from all over the world are giving their opinion on Norway. Apparently, Norway is not just very different to America. Norway is kind of different to the rest of the world. Norway is unique. Even these people from other countries, other than America, are like, so he's saying Norwegians are tough to read, don't show too much emotion. Interesting.
There is no Norwegian body language. They're happy, they're like this. Look at me, they're like this. They're sad, they're like this.
Well, that guy, he's from Italy, it says. And I think Italians are very, very expressive. Americans are very, very expressive. So Italians, Americans, I'm sure other people around the world, like, it can feel very, very different to Norway. Norway is very, very unique. That is for sure.
I never know if it's okay to hug a Norwegian. Like, because sometimes it is, and then sometimes it isn't. Like, there's...
Oh, hugging. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I've never thought about hugging in Do Norwegians hug? Norwegians seem to enjoy personal space a little bit more, especially more than Americans. Americans are definitely okay with hugging. I bet Norwegians are okay with hugging friends and close people that you're close with, whereas Americans might hug strangers a little bit more, or might be a little more outgoing. It's probably like that kind of difference.
There's no standard of, okay, I've hugged this person one time, and now I'm going to continue hugging them. It's more like on the day I see how it goes.
Do I think Norwegians are able to small talk?
Oh, Norwegians do not like small talk.
And Norwegians do not like small talk. It's like everything Norwegians like is the opposite of Americans. And I kind of enjoy it. I agree with the Norwegian point of view quite a bit as an American. Small talk is pretty annoying. It's kind of awkward, but Americans do it. It's definitely something you gotta do in America. Or you would feel even more uncomfortable in America if you're not making small talk or saying something. If it's just silence, Americans cannot handle silence. Cannot handle it.
If they do small talk, it's more, hey, how are you doing? And then they'll answer you, hey, how are you doing? You know?
They promote, like, god stämning. I don't know, happy mood, good mood, a lot.
Good mood, happy mood. Like Norwegians, I've not heard of this. God stemming? That's just like a philosophy in Norway? Where you should try to think positively, be in a good mood in general? Sounds good in theory. I mean, if you can be in a good mood, then yeah, that's great.
And that I think is very positive, because in Finland we don't do that.
I think the Norwegian expression that I've learned that's the most unique and interesting as an English speaker is koselig.
I've never heard it before, and
Koselig.
Norwegians use it for everything. If they meet you, oh, how koselig.
Have a nice dinner with your friends with some candles lit and drink some wine, and that's koselig.
Koselig? Everything is koselig? Is it like mean everything is good? Like whenever something is good, it's koselig?
Or, you know, even going out and fishing and catching a ton of fish, that's very koselig.
Koselig? Koselig? So whenever something fun or good is happening, it's koselig? Is that correct?
It's so cozy for us just to understand it. Not just thanks, but tusen tack, thousand thank you to you.
Tusen tack, 1,000 thanks. Oh, Norwegians are very thankful. I mean, all of this sounds very, very nice, honestly. Now, I could see Americans and other countries might, and I've heard this before, people say Norwegians can be distant or cold or have a wall, but it's really just a different expectation of how we communicate. Americans and other countries are very, very talkative and in your face, friendly, maybe even overbearingly, like upfront. Whereas Norwegians are just a little like more reserved, and maybe when Norwegians talk, it's a little more meaningful in that sense. And it's people can get the wrong impression of Norwegians, I think. But this makes them like, this is very polite behavior, saying thank you 1,000 times. That's very nice.
You.
Okay, these are really interesting little interviews. We have another one here where students from all over the world who have lived in Norway are going to talk about Norwegian society, what they've noticed.
My biggest culture crush would be the working hours. Now I'm used to that, but when I came the first week, it was really unexpected to not be able to go grocery shopping whenever you want because...
Oh, working hours. Like when stores are open. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure about Norway store hours. I know they close sooner. And in Norway, sometimes can't you like get off work at 4 o'clock or something? But like, especially in America, a lot of stores are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, always open. Like, and that's really, really expected here in America. A lot of grocery stores in particular, Walmart and stuff, they never close. They literally never close. So this would be quite a shock for Americans and other people as well, by the sound of it.
The shops close.
What's weird about Norwegians is that they breathe in when they talk.
To signal that they agree with something.
Instead of saying yes, they go, yeah, yeah.
Breathe in when you talk. That is fascinating. That's not even like a different language. That's just a different way of enunciating words. Breathing. Different way of breathing when you talk. I've never thought about that. Breathing in. Like if I said yes, yeah, yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm laughing because we don't do anything like that in the United States. I don't think we really say anything while breathing in. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna choke. I'm not even good at it. But I imagine this is quite normal sounding in Norway. Huh.
Signal that they agree with something.
Instead of saying yes, they go, yeah, yeah.
I was like, gosh, what just happened? And I thought that the person would get a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah. This, I'm glad I'm hearing about this. I think a lot of Americans would really be caught off guard by that. That is a sound, that is a breathing pattern that doesn't exist in America. Like, oh, yes. I did not know people did that. These are some really, really interesting differences between American and Norwegian culture. Stuff I would never, ever have thought about.
Norwegian girls are very independent, are very non-submissive.
Okay, Norwegian girls
are very independent. Are very non-submissive.
Okay.
It's very like huge amount of gender equality here.
Ah.
People are just people. They're not like distinguished by their genders.
I always feel safe. Like I can walk home at 3 a.m. in the morning and I don't feel at any point afraid of being robbed or something happening to me with regards to crime.
That's awesome. Sadly, that is something Norway has that America does not. Like in America, our trust in each other, our trust in our fellow Americans is probably at one of the lowest it's ever been. Like just in general, you never leave your stuff out or it might get stolen. You never leave your door unlocked. Like women can be nervous walking home at night. That's pretty common. That's just a fact of life. And depending on where you live in America, it can be better or worse. It's worse in big cities and it's better in sort of small towns where everyone kind of knows each other. It can be a little more safe. But in Norway, that's an amazing thing Norway has going for it. The feeling of equality and the feeling of safety. That's an amazing, amazing thing that I really, really respect about Norway.
Oslo as a city is an amazing city. It's very beautiful, very nature-filled, new, technological. The music.
I've always thought that. Any of the videos I've seen about Oslo, and a lot of Norway in general, Norway just seems so progressive, so technologically advanced. Like Norway always has this cool, modern stuff. Technology and modern design in the buildings, and everything always seems so nice. It is something I have noticed. It might seem small to Norwegians, but I always notice this, that Oslo and other places in Norway seem really modern. Like, it's cool.
Music scene is amazing, and they have a great underground and some amazing artists that actually the world has never seen before.
If you go out in Norway, a lot of Norwegians, when they get drunk enough, they have a lot of songs that they all happen to know. I don't know if it's like football anthems or what, but you'll hear them all singing together, and it's quite a show.
I haven't heard about that. I've learned a little bit about Norwegians and having drinks, getting drunk, and Norwegians like to do that to open up. I didn't know about the songs. I didn't know about the drinking songs. The Norwegian drinking songs. That might have to be a different video, where I look up some of the Norwegian drinking songs. That'd actually be really funny. Okay, and finally, something I wanted to look at here was making Norwegian friends. What do all these students have to say about making friends in Norway? I have heard that it can be quite difficult compared to other places in the world.
I think the best way to make friends in Norway is to play it a little bit cool and to take it a little bit slowly.
Right.
You just have to give them a little time to get to know you, and then they will be open with you. But if you start being extremely expressive at the first, I think they will kind of take a step back, and maybe that will make them feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Oh, that's really good advice for Americans. And specifically, Americans usually start off, Americans have different personalities, but in general, it's not uncommon for Americans to start off pretty strong. Americans are pretty straightforward. We're pretty straightforward and we're pretty open, and it's normal here in America. It's actually considered very nice and normal and very easy to talk to people and meet people and become friends. It's very easy. But in Norway, the same exact behavior sounds like it would be way too much. It'd be way too much too quickly, which I can appreciate this side of Norwegian culture, that Norwegians actually want to take time to get to know you before actually calling you a friend. I actually can appreciate that, because in America, friendships can be very, very strong, and sometimes friendships can be very, very, not very deep, very, very thin, not very meaningful, which is a shame. And it's kind of fake. It's kind of fake, to be honest. It's like Americans are so worried about having lots of friends rather than a couple of very, very strong friends. Whereas Norwegians, I think, have the correct priority. Have a couple of really, really, really good friends that last you a lifetime. I really like that, and I think most Norwegians agree with that.
To make that initial step of being friends with a Norwegian or interacting with a Norwegian is kind of harder than with anyone else, but...
The initial step, right. So it's not just difficult becoming good friends with Norwegians, it's difficult, according to them, it can be difficult to even find an opening to become friends, to start talking even. I think this is where you have to either go to the same school or the same job or do an activity together or get drunk or go out drinking. That's kind of your best chances of finding an opportunity if you're living in Norway to make friends.
Once you get to know them, they are the most welcoming, just warm people.
You don't get to know people by just seeing them. The easiest way is to do something with them, and most Norwegians love to hike or discover the nature.
Go hiking or in nature. I like what she was saying about Norwegians when you do get to know them. Norwegians are some of the most kind, genuine people, and I've seen a lot of that in videos and comments on my videos. So nice, so genuine. I really love that about Norwegians, truly.
I'm not sure if there's a thing that makes Norwegian people awkward, but I think alcohol is a thing which makes Norwegian people not awkward.
I think the one thing Norwegians love the most is to go to a party or go to a club, because they tend to open up.
They just become the happiest people in the world, and they just start being Italian, moving their hands.
I used to think this was an exaggeration. I used to think this was a joke. Like, oh, Norwegians like to go out drinking, to open up. Oh, ha 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 ha. What that like a joke. I don't think it's a joke. I think it's literally true. Like, this is a fact. Norwegians like to drink, to open up and have a better time and socialize. That's literally how it works. I mean, that's how it works in America too, but Americans will open up and socialize no matter what, whereas Norwegians seem to really rely on the drinking quite a bit.
They speak all the languages in the world.
I think the best thing about Norwegians is that once you're friends with a Norwegian, you're friends for life.
Wow.
It's what's made it so easy to feel like home here is that the Norwegians that I have met have really taken me in.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Because you don't find that all the time in America. You don't always find that. That's really cool about Norway. If you have a friend, a Norwegian friend, it's a real friend for life. That's actually awesome. This was really, really cool, these interviews. These were by BI Norwegian Business School, and I got to give that a like. These were fascinating, honestly. I loved hearing about the perspective of people from countries all over the world. Seem to have a lot to say about Norway. People from all over the world think Norway is very unique, very specific culture and customs. It's not just me as an American. Norway is a special place, and some of the stuff here they were saying they think is kind of strange, but a lot of it was really positive, really, really good things about Norway, or just things that are different. That's kind of the cool thing about this world, is that we're different cultures, we do stuff differently, and there's different ways of doing things, and it's all very cool and beautiful, the differences between us. And I had a lot of fun listening to this and learning about this, actually. I learned quite a few new things, so I enjoyed it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with what you think are some Norwegian culture shocks, things people are surprised to learn when they live in Norway, or your thoughts on any of the things that were said here today. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.